So, good morning, Excellency Ambassador of Kosovo to Germany. Thank you very much for joining us today at the Berlin Global Studio. We are discussing this morning cooperation between the Embassy of Kosovo and the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. We had the pleasure earlier last month to have here the Minister of Finance of Kosovo, so we are getting close to Kosovo and we are very much looking forward to developing some cooperation. The first question I want to ask you is with regards to the work that the embassy is doing here in Berlin, and what kind of strategies or actions or let's say activities the embassy is leading here in Berlin related to the field of cultural diplomacy that you think can approach a little bit German culture to Kosovo culture, and can also be some sort of access to the culture of Kosovo to the Germans and to the international community in Berlin.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting. We have great opportunity to meet your director today and to speak about, first time to speak about cooperation between Kosovo and your institution here in Berlin. It was part of the conference which you did excellent this year here in Berlin, and our minister were invited here, and he also speech explain about economic issues, development issues in Kosovo. First of all, Kosovo embassy in Berlin is just 5 years old, so we are very new here in Berlin. I am the second ambassador in Germany. I study and live many years in Germany, so that's the second time I'm appointed yet in Berlin. The Kosovo embassy is a very small embassy because our country is very small, but we have created here a good opportunity in many issues, bilateral issues between the two governments, economics, and also very interesting thing is that we cooperate very much in the building, in the education. We have good cooperation with the institution, with the German institution, especially with BMZ and JZ for art. GZ is taking the curriculum framework for vocational education in Kosovo, so we like to be part of the dual system, what is called here in Germany, for our young generation Kosovo. Kosovo have very young generation, 60% under 35 years old, and of course we have a lot of students, about 60,000 students per year in Kosovo. The culture diplomacy here in Berlin for us is very important. In our embassy, we take the responsibility to link two countries, also not in the bilateral issues, but also in the culture. In Germany, live in more than 315,000 Kosovars. So there are a lot of big diaspora who are living there, and of course they are linked to the culture in Germany, and that's culture bringing to Kosovo, but also the people from Kosovo bring the culture here. And for our embassy, it's very important, of course, to link this both opportunities together. We started this year to have the exposition in our embassy for the first time after 4 years, and it's very good because the fifth exposition will be presented on 17th of December, special for the German artists. And also for the diaspora, for the Kosovo artists who are living in Germany.
We are actually very much looking forward to this, and we'll have a delegation covering and reporting about the exhibition. That we sincerely hope it will be a great success. Now, moving a little bit to Kosovo, to the country, and to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has cultural diplomacy, or let's say a cultural exchange, being in the main core or in the main agenda of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Do you see that this can be a role to play in the economic development, for example?
Definitely. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Kosovo is very, very interesting, and we did a lot of opportunity, a lot of things in this case in the last 4 years, especially in this year, in the public diplomacy, in the cultural diplomacy, and we created a very good link in many institution in the world, around the world. We are very small countries, but we are very present in the public diplomacy. In case we have team in our ministry, the deputy head of foreign minister is leading this public diplomacy and cultural diplomacy, and we have also big events in Kosovo this year, about 115 people from around the world directly and special for the public and cultural diplomacy in Kosovo. And that was big event first time.
And when will this event take place? It took place already, or?
It took place already in Kosovo, and we will be every year present in Kosovo.
Okay, so that's important. What state is this taking place for our audience to know about this?
Yes, we will let you know. The next time should be maybe middle of the year, next year. We are just creating the new government, but it started last year, and let's continue. That means that we bring together the people for all nation or the world, and not just young, but also all people who are involved, and in this case, are interesting, of course, about issues in Kosovo, and it was very successful.
What are the main? Do you see what are the main? Let's say 3 or 4 or 5 or some characteristics of the Kosovan culture that Kosovo is trying to promote now or export in terms of nation branding. What are these aspects of the culture that can export the culture abroad and create this interest in Kosovo for people from the rest of Europe, but also from the rest of the world?
First of all, we are a very young generation. So what I see before, 16% of the people in Kosovo are under 35 years old. That means a lot of us, because we have a responsibility for this young generation to create the better education. We invest a lot of in the government issues of the education in the past, but also in the future. And the second is to create jobs for this young generation. Third, we are very interested to link the young generation with European countries, and not just European countries, but around the world. And there are many opportunities in this case. So what we like to do is just to open this country, and we are European orientated. The language is very expanded in Kosovo, so the young generation speak already English very good, but also the German language is very popular, because we are a lot of diaspora in Germany and Switzerland, Austria. So in this case, we are very interested to expand this and to be linked in many institutions. Also in the future with your institution here to change the students, maybe for 1 semester, 2 semester, or maybe for MBA or something like this, master degree, just to have more opportunity for this young generation to be linked with the international institution, and to open the mind in many cases.
No, I think it's very interesting. Academic partnerships here at the ICD, we really think this is kind of one of the key points now to open this exchange, because those are longer term exchange, so it's not like a trip or something like that, and it can really bring both Kosovo to Germany and Germany to Kosovo. So I think that could be extremely interesting. Excellency, to finish, I will ask you one question that we ask all of our guests here, which is what does cultural diplomacy means for you, and what do you see the role of cultural diplomacy to be as a regional cohesion factor in the region of Southeast Europe, for example, with regards to Kosovo, the neighbor countries, and what does it mean for you, this cultural diplomacy and its significance for the Southeast European region?
Cultural diplomacy is very important, not just for one country, just not for Kosovo, but for the region. You know, our past is very bad, and because 13 years ago we were fighting again, and we were in war, but we are in the good moving that we have created the stabilization association process in the region, and starting with the neighbor, we are in very good opportunities and good issues that we have now our agreement between Kosovo and Serbia. Not just in diplomatic issues, but we started also in the culture to be part of this small institution, like what I say, students, to change the students. And we have a delegation from Serbia to Kosovo, and we started also to have small delegation about programs in building issues, but also in the culture. So to link the culture together. We lived before in former Yugoslavia together. It is the difficult language, not the same, But we live together, so we can start also this to continue. Not just with Serbia, but also with other people in the region. We have very good excellence and changes with Montenegro, with Croatia, with Slovenia, Macedonia, and also especially with Albania.
Great. Well, it's a pleasure and honor, and thank you so much for coming. We are hoping to learn more about Kosovo and about its culture, and we are hoping to develop some cooperation within the frame of the ICD with work with cultural diplomacy can be very useful asset. And of course, to focus on the positive aspects and on the development of Kosovo in the last years. I think that after 5 years with the embassy here in Berlin is already, I see that there is a full agenda of things to do and many years to come. So I think it's great to focus on that and to look to the future and develop some great things together. Thank you very much, Excellency.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.